Now we're gonna do the Billie brake light on the R18. This is gonna be the hardest part of the whole thing because of all this shit in the way. I'm gonna show you underneath the bike and see, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as the underneath goes. There you go. So there's the underneath. The brake light is up there, but the problem is it's very tight. You can't get your hand in there. And the brake light comes out somewhere around here. So I'm going to remove this side box, which is actually quite easy. You have two T30s or T40s. They're torqued 19 millimeters. Remove those and it comes right off. You have another cable that's underneath the seat, so you have to remove the seat. You have to remove that T30 right there to get the seat off. Unhook the heated seat. Remove this guy. I don't think I need to remove the top box, but we're taking this one step at a time. So let's just let's go on this journey. I did have to undo the top box. I did 3 of the 4 bolts. They're a real bitch to get to. But as you can see these marks here, I tried really hard to get in there. I just could not. This is facing backwards. If you look at the fender, that T30 is facing rear. It's just a really hard angle to get to without stripping that bolt out. So I did 3 of these top box bolts, 1, 2, and then 3, which hopefully means I can just slide this at just enough angle right there to get to that bolt there. I gotta clean this leather up too. Man, I feel so bad about that. Put this back where I found it, which is the way you're supposed to be doing it. Got this out of the way. I'm gonna cut 1 zip tie, and there's another zip tie down here, 2 zip tie, and then I can remove this on those T40s that are in the box there. Okay, here's how you take the brake light bracket off. So we're underneath the bike right now. This screw up here, don't touch that one. You don't need to touch that one. This is all a mounting bracket, so that can just stay where it is. But there are 3 screws here, 1, 2, and 3. Those are T25s. I'm on my back in case you were wondering. But you don't need to take its top one off, just those 3 there, and you'll see here how that's loose. You look on the other side. You have 1, 2, and 3. So as for where that wire goes, it goes behind that actual. So this is actually the frame. That metal bracket is not a bracket, it's the frame. The fender is bolted to it at a few different locations. So, you know, we're going to basically run the Billie brake light cable over the frame and zip tie it at a couple locations and run it out this little hole that's actually, you know, a little bit too large for what you need, and then hopefully we can get that in there. So now that we have this out, we're going to use this big hole, and this hole is massive. I'm going to run the Billie brake light from here. I'm going to run it underneath this magnesium frame. I'm going to find myself underneath the, I'm basically just going to fish it over all of this thing inside the fender, all the way back to the back. I'm going to try my best to get my hands up in there and at least get 2 or 3 of those, you know, how it's intertwined, zip tied in there. Actually, I gotta run from the opposite direction. I run for this direction because the wire comes out of the back of the license plate. So I'll run it up and over to here and then run it through and hopefully terminate it and we're done. It's looks a little bit ridiculous, but there's your R18 Transcontinental in fully naked mode. This thing gets dirty, but New Hampshire's just a dirty state with some of dust and dirt we have here. Moment of truth. Not flickering. Make sure it says, oh, it says brake light fault. Oh, that's because my brake lights are off, I think. Yeah, it's when my brake lights are off. It works. All right, well, that's very bright. It does work though. So let's get the bike off and get everything buttoned. I guess I should show you before I get this all buttoned up. So, man, it is a very short, well, it's just long enough. So I wanted to run the cable through the above the entire frame along the top of the fender. Would not work. It terminates like here. It won't make it all the way down here. And so what I did was I went through the first 2 little metal frame pieces and then dropped it straight down here where the ESA oil reservoir is. So it's right there. So I don't know if you can see under, maybe you can't, but basically what I'm doing now is I'm following the brake fluid line all the way back up. That's what I'm doing. It's going underneath the frame here. It's going behind and then out the side right there. So, oh, I'm trying to turn this off. So it is, it's very high above the tire, but it's not hugging the fender. The only way to get it to fit all the way to here. So I'm going to tape all this up and cable manage it, and then I'll reassemble the tail end. And then I'm going to try to, so you can see there, it comes through the hole. So let's screw it together now. It's coming up. It's zip tied to that right side of the frame, and then it's dropping right down. So if you look from here, you can see it. See how it comes out the side of the fender and then hooks right into the top of that reservoir there. So it daylights a little bit. I want it to go like all the way, you know, around that silver metal, but I just could not. I didn't have enough space. So instead of terminating up there at the very top where that silver is, it comes right out and daylights at that ESA oil reservoir. It's nowhere close to the tire. It's not. I mean, it's hugging the fender. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not thrilled with it. I'll mention it to Clearwater and I'll tell them if they want to send me a R18 specific Billie brake light, because I mean, like, I would love like 8 to 12 inches of more wire. I would do this again just to get it a little bit up there in the fender, but it should be fine for thousands of miles. I'm not really worried.